Are you ready for a funny chest video? Wait, not that funny chest. This funny chest. This is the Chest of Boundless Sorrow, and we're gonna use it on both skeleton ships and player ships to attempt to sink them without firing a single cannon. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We had a few things to do in order to prepare. First, we had to go to the local shipwright and pick up a few captain's voyages. Specifically, we were looking for the cursed treasure bundle for captain ships. In addition, don't forget to raise your gold hoarder emissary flag during these voyages for an extra payout on your loot. Once we were underway, these voyages played out similarly to Vault or Skull of Destiny ones. You get to an island, the compass goes crazy, you dig up the loot, and baddies will spawn. In a nice touch, the baddies that spawn will correspond to the type of cursed chest you dig up. From there, it's just the simple matter of digging up the chest and bringing it back to your boat. Normally, you'll dig up either the Chest of Sorrow, the Chest of 1,000 Grogs, or a Chest of Rage. It feels like the voyages do favor the Chest of 1,000 Grogs, which isn't bad if you're going for that commendation, but we had a different plan in mind. So onward we continue to sail, until finally we achieved our goal. The Chest of Boundless Sorrows was ours. It's a rare random dig, so don't be surprised if it takes several voyages to snag one. But now that we did have one, we had no need for the rest of the loot, so off to Sovereigns we went. Time was specifically of the essence, because we had a very juicy skeleton fleet just waiting for us to use our new toy on. In the meantime, I tested to see how long it would take to sink a sloop and got to 1 minute 20 seconds before water reached mid-deck. This could work. It was still going to be a dangerous run though. A single one ball from a skeleton ship could mean a sunk Bardcore beauty. We had to simultaneously keep our distance, continuously bucket the ship, and plan an attack pattern that would get me onto the enemy ship with the chest, all while being fired on. Not exactly a walk in the park. That's when the harpoon came into play. If you harpoon another ship in motion, you can alter its trajectory. I thought by simply harpooning them close enough, I'd be able to board, but without a second crewmate to hold tension, the harpoon line slacks. Fine. When all else fails, ram strat best strat, right? Not exactly the smoothest of maneuvering, but hey, it gets the job done. After a few minutes of having that chest on board their ship, it was only a matter of time before they went under the waves. 1-0 Bardcore. Time for round 2. This time, we were in an advantageous position with the harpoon, and with the wind in our favor for once, it was time for a quick ram and board before dropping the chest on their deck and heading back to the relative safety of my ship once again. I was especially pleased since these skellies were shadows and it was nighttime. No light needed here. Finally, it was time for the flagship of the fleet, a skeleton galleon. And what do you know? They want to say hi right away. Fine by me. Let me just get this old chest here and whoop. Yep. Stuck underneath the galleon without a chance to grab the ladder. That sounds about right. Okay, round 2. This time we're gonna go do this and nope, leap it a miss. Strike 2. Okay, round 3. This time coming in at their stern. Good thing about galleons, even Skelly ones, is that they do have that little lip that you can get onto. Just gotta get that timing right, and yes! Success. And as we take a look at the shine coming off that chest, we watch the galleon sink lower and lower into the water until there's nothing left but the loot pile she was carrying. Chest of Boundless Sorrow, a job well done to you. It was time to turn in the loot once again to Sovereigns, and just when I was about to decide on what to do next, what do you know? There's a Fort of Fortune in the sky, and not only that, but there's a player galleon already there. This was it, the final test. I took my sloop over to Wanderer's Refuge and proceeded to make the rest of the journey by rowboat. Don't ask me why a rowboat doesn't instantly sink with water from the crying chest. I don't know the physics of that. Not only did we have to deal with the constantly sobbing chest, but there was a storm in our path as well. Sure, it provided us with a bit of cover, but I could have done without that, thanks very much, game. But here we were, at the stern of the galleon. First, we'd attach the rowboat to their ship. There were 2 options. I could try and stick the chest in an inconvenient spot on the side of the ship, or head up to the crows. I chose crows and played Sleepy Bard as it sobbed next to me. And that's when I noticed, great, a ghost player. And then I had a sneaking suspicion and looked down to find 2 more Ghost Curse players on board. Well, I don't think this is gonna turn out well for your old pal Bardcore here. And sure enough, I was under threat. I tried to flee, but broke my legs in the process. Turning back around, I see my death until...
Hey, can I be in a YouTube video?
What's that?
Hey, can I be in a YouTube video?
Yeah, absolutely. Just let your boat sink.
Can I be in your YouTube video?
No, it's actually you.
My luck, I get the Guardian Galleon.
Oh, thank you, man.
No way, it's you though.
Turns out they were fans. And not only fans, but one of them was a longtime viewer of our YouTube live streams, right here on this channel every Saturday.
So hi, my name is Nevi from a lot of your streams. Big fan.
Nevi Goose? Goose, is that you?
Yes.
Oh, pleasure to meet you in game.
Okay, so we weren't able to sink a player ship. But was I about to give it up? No, not a chance. We had at least one more try left in us. We had lost the chest. What do? It turns out there's another version of the Chest of Sorrow that does exactly what our chest originally did with the Endless Crying. This one is called the Chest of Everlasting Sorrow, and it's only found through the second Pirate's Life tall tale, the Sunken Pearl. So I finished that tall tale and carried that wailing chest all the way back to our sloop to go on the hunt once again. Unfortunately, things didn't really turn out all that better. The first ship I was going to try it on sank before I even had the opportunity to get on board. Players must have left. Then we had a big opportunity. There was someone doing a Fort of the Damned. That meant a stationary ship and potentially distracted players. This could be it. Except for some reason, someone over at Rare must have saw me coming and went, "Nuh-uh, you can't have fun today. Unleash the PvE." Because throughout the entire journey, I was harassed by both sirens and sharks. I had full health, pineapples, and ammo, and by the end, right next to the fort, I had none of those things. So alas, we weren't successful in our final mission. But still, I had a blast even attempting it. And I want to give a special shout out to the galleon crew I met over at that Fort of Fortune. They could have absolutely blasted me without a care after I tried to sink them, but they were great sports about it. I love the camaraderie you can find on the seas. Until next time, this is Jon Bardcore signing out, saying so long and take care. Oh, and one of the crew had a message for you.
Hey, YouTube, remember to subscribe. No!